Cell referencing is a very important aspect of Excel, and you really need to master cell referencing very well. It can be quite technical though and complex, but it's easy and very simple to follow. Okay, you need to master self referencing in Excel because everything you need to do in Excel basically has to do with cells. So you need to master how to reference these cells to be able to work on whether large or small data. Okay. So not knowing how to reference cell or can actually mess your work up while using Excel. All right, so but let's jump into it. We're going to be considering the three types of cell referencing: the relational cell referencing, the absolute cell referencing, and then the mixed cell referencing. These are very important referencing techniques you should pay attention to, okay? So we are going to be starting with the very basic one, which is the one you already know. Let's say we have some few data here. We'll have this maybe serial number. Let's just do a simple computation here. We'll have one, we'll have two, maybe let's say we'll have one to 10. Let's say we'll have 1 to 10. Then we'll have students, maybe student's name, math score. This is the student's math score. Then the student's English score. Then we have the exam score, and then of course we have the total score. All right. So to align everything automatically, you can just come to this place, click here to highlight everything, then just double tap anyone. It is going to format all the cells for you. You can also just bolden these parts, and that is it. So we want to have their name here. Maybe the person's name is John. This person, the math score is 45, English score maybe 23, and then exam score is 40. So I'm just going to quickly fill up this one. We'll have the details like this. We'll have the students' names, the student first score, second score, and exam score. Of course, to get the total score is going to be a summation of these first math score, English score, and then exam score that will give us the total. And how to do that is we can simply just do equal to the first, the 45 plus 23 plus 40 for the exam, right? When you hit enter, it's going to give you the correct answer, which is 108. But the problem with this, and then the problem with this particular value is that it is not automated. That's the first one, because if, for example, we want to increase mark, we want to give everybody 5 marks, or we discover that this mark here is error, and then we change it to 40. Maybe this student scored 40 and not 45. When we change it, it is not going to change this. This is going to become a wrong answer. This total, it will render, changing this, any of this value will render this total incorrect, right? So, and that is wrong. And then secondly, we cannot drag down. When we sum down, it is going to give us the same thing because Excel is not relating to what we are doing. Excel doesn't understand what we're doing. So that is a problem with that kind of summation. So you need to reference the cells. So in cell referencing, you need to know that each of these cells have names, how to reference them, right? So this is A1, this is a column, this is a row. So this particular cell here, the name of this cell, you reference it where it meets, where the row meets the column, right? Where the column meets the row is the cell reference name. So this column meets this row here. That is B5. That is the name of this cell. This cell here is A1 because this is A and this is 1. That is why you have A1 here. So if we come here, the name of this cell is D4. And the name of this one is what? M4. That is it here. So that is how we reference cell. Then let's come back to our work. So what you simply do is to sum according to the container. You just reference this container, that whatever is in this container add it to whatever is in this container, add it to this other one, then you are going to have the total value here. All right. So anytime, even if another person comes on board, they'll just simply see that this container is a value of what is here plus what is here plus what is here. It doesn't matter what is there. Even if the value changes, Excel is seeing the container, all right, and not just the value. Okay, so this is what we mean. You have two ways of doing this. You can say equal to, you come here, you choose this first value plus sign, choose the second value plus sign, shift and equal to sign to get your plus, then this one, and then you hit enter. It is going to give you this value. Now when you click on this value, this is the formula, but it is showing you that this place contains the summation of this C5 plus the D5 plus the E5. So whatever is inside, sum them and it will give you the value in F5. So even if this one later changes to any value at all, let's say it changes to 40, it is going to update the answer automatically. All right. So this becomes helpful when you have a lot of data, like you have large number of data to work with. So you don't have to go and start correcting each of them. Once you correct any value here, it automatically updates in the total value. And also, when you sum down, you drag down, you don't need to repeat the same thing for all of these people. Excel is already seen that you sum the value in the first one, the second one, and the third one. So when you drag down, when it comes down here, it's simply going to sum the one in C6, D6, and E6. When it comes down here, it will simply sum the one in C7, D7, and E7. When it comes, so it continues like that for you. You don't need to repeat anything. You just automate your work. You drag down and Excel automatically fills up the rest of the values for you. So this movement is called the relative referencing. All right. So you just it's relate, because you've shown it what to do here. Move this way, move this way, move this way. So it keeps moving. As you go down, it moves to the next row. You go down again, it moves to the next row and repeat the same thing you did. It goes down. So it is relative. It is called the relative referencing. Let's move to the next one. The next one is absolute referencing. Let's say we now check their total score and it is very low. And we want to dash each of the students extra mark. So we're going to have a new total. The new total is that we want to give each student 5 marks. So we come anywhere around and put the 5 marks that we want to give each of the students. So I'll put 5 marks. This is 5 marks we want to give the student. So how do we add that to this total? So we now tell Excel that for each of these students, give them 5 marks. Okay. So we will come here and we do equal to. What do we do now? We will say this one plus that 5 marks, right? Plus this 5 marks. Enter. So it has added 5 marks to this person. So let's now draw the 10 down. It is going to be wrong. Did you notice that it didn't add for this person? It didn't add for this person. It didn't add for this person. Why? Because it is still using the relative referencing method. So because Excel was still seeing this as relative. So when it added for this one, it looked at this place. Yes, it brought out the value. And then it went here and picked up the value for 5 and added it to this person. That's correct. Then it came down here. It picked this value. Yes. Then it went down here to look for another value to pick. And it didn't see any 5 here. So it didn't see, it added 0. So because it didn't see any value, it added 0. It come down here, it brought this one plus another value down here. So it was moving relatively. All right. So if you come here and add 5 and then you update, it's going to update here. If you come down here and add 5, your update is going to update here. So, but that's not what we want. We want Excel to look at this 5 and use it for all of them, right? We want Excel to move through these values, but all of them will have to pick this 5 and make use of it. So what we'll do is we need to allow this place to be moving, but we keep this one stagnant to keep it fixed. All right. So we come here, we write our equal to, then pick this value plus this one. But this one, we are going to make it fixed. And the only way to make it fixed is by using the dollar sign. So you can just press your F4. F4 is going to hold this place. This value now is going to be fixed. This F4 has locked it. It means that this column is free. It is going to be moving. When it gets to this point, it's going to move down to this, pick this value. When it comes down here, it's going to come down here to pick this value. When it comes down here, it comes down here to pick this value. But this one is locked. The J6, that is this cell here, is locked. And all this place, as it is moving down, it is not going to be moving relatively down. It's going to be stagnant. It will be fixed here and picking this value for all of them, no matter how far down you go. All right, so let's hit enter. Now, when we bring it down, it is going to add 5 to all of them. Did you see? So if you check this one, look at it. Excel picked F5 and J5, J6, right? It came down to this place. It picked what? F6, J6. It came down here, picked F7, J6. Came down here, picked F8, J6. Came down here, picked F9, J6. So all of them, they are stationed at this place. It is fixed. So it is absolute referencing. So you use the dollar sign for your absolute referencing. And to get the dollar sign, so this is the value. So how we got this value is the F4 key. When you want to reference anything, or you can also put it manually. You can just come here and put the dollar sign by hitting Shift 4. You can put it manually. So if you have the J6, this is it, the column 5. So you come to the front of J and put Shift and click on your Shift 4. It's going to add. You come here and you add Shift 4. It's going to add. So that is how to lock this particular cell, and then it references it. All right. So that is your absolute referencing. Let's say we want this value to move horizontally and vertically. Let's use another example. Price of a product is 50,000. Yeah, so we have the value, and this is in Naira. Let's say this is in Naira. So if I just come to currency and I'll put Naira there, more. If I go to more, I'll just put Naira. Okay, so this is the value. Now I have them in Naira here. And I also want to have these ones in dollars. And then I want to have them in pounds, in euros, sorry. So I want to get the dollar value and the euro value. And maybe I also want to get the yen value, right? So I need to get the exchange rate. If the exchange rate for dollar, for example, to Naira is maybe 800, the exchange rate for euro is maybe 900, and the exchange rate for yen is 200. So I want to exchange this. So to get the exchange rate is very simple. I'll simply just divide this by the exchange, right, to get the dollar. So to get this one is going to be this value here divided by this value, right? Then I will enter. This is it. So but I'll change this value to euro. We'll change that later though, but this is in dollars, right? So I don't need to come and do the same thing here. I need to do something that when I just drag, if I drag this down, it is going to give me error because it is relatively moving. It is looking for the next value here to, divide with, all right? So it is not going to work. So what do we do? And if I also drag it this way, it is going to give me a value, but this is a wrong value because it is not seeing this 900. All right. Let's write a formula that is going to help us to tackle this problem. So the formula we're going to write is just simply going to be equal to this value divided by this value. Now we need to log value because we want this one to move downwards. We want it to move in this column without changing. So we need to log which value? E. We need to lock E because E is a column. Then we also need it to move vertically like this when we move it without changing. So we need to lock the row. This is the row, and this is in row 4, right? This is in row 4. So we need to lock 4. Good. So we have it locked. Not this is the perfect formula to help us achieve this. So let me explain again. So because this is column F, this is a column E. The values we want to use is in column E. So we need to lock this column E. This is column E. So we locked the E here. We're not locking the value, the row here, because we want it to be moving. We want it to move to the next column, to the next column, to the next column. But now this is the row. We have only one row here, and we want this thing to stick to this one row. The value is in each of the column of the row, right? So we are leaving the column. When we move like this, we want it to move like this. When we move to the second one, we want it to move to euro. When we move to the third one, we want it to move to the yen exchange, right? So we are leaving the L, the L, because when we move it, we want it to move to M. Then when we move it again, we want it to move to N, right? So that's why we're leaving this L. We're not locking it. We're only locking the row. We don't want it to leave this row 4. It has to be in this row 4. So this is the column E. We don't want it to leave column E. That's why we locked column E. But we don't want it to stick to row 4. When we move to the next one, we want it to move with us. Move to the next one. And that is it. So when we hit enter, it's going to give us the value. Then when we move, it's going to give us the right value. And then when we move this way as well, it's going to give us the right conversion for all of these currencies. So for this one, I'm going to change the currency to dollars. For this one, I'm going to change the currency to euro. For this one, I'm going to change the currency to yen. Good. So we have the equivalent values. This is mixed referencing. This is mixed referencing. So as you can see, this value, we can also use this mixed referencing to get, let's use it to get the, I think it's very popular with, let's clean everything here. Let's use it to do something. It's very popular with multiplication table. That's how they got multiplication table. So if you have 1 here, you have 2 here. I have 1, 2, down to 12. Let's leave it at 12. Then we'll have 1, 2, and then we'll bring it down to 13. That is 12. So this is a multiplication table. This is a formula you use to, get your multiplication table. Let's just color it. Just, you can color this one to green. Color this one to blue. So our multiplication table, we want to multiply this thing that we have here. When we move this way, it should remain it should just give us 1 times 1 2, 2 times 2 4, 3 times 1 3, 4 times 1 4. Just, it should be moving it should be moving down the column, but it should stick to this row, each of the row. So the formula we're going to use is going to be equal to, we're multiplying this by this, but we are going to lock, because we are moving down, we are going to lock the row, leaving the column, because we want it to be moving around the column. Then in this column part, we are going to lock the column, because we want it to stick to column 2, right? So we lock it and then equal to. So when you drag it down, it's going to multiply the table for you, and then when you drag it this way, it's going to fill up this value for you. So this is how to get your multiplication table. As you can see, if you multiply 12 by 12, it's going to give you 144. If you multiply 1 by 12, it's going to give you 12. If you multiply 10 by 12, it's going to give you 120. So if you check the value, you see, so it is moving. This is called the mixed referencing. All right, so guys, we've covered all the referencing type. We've covered the relative referencing. We also covered here the absolute referencing, and here we've covered the mixed referencing, and we also did the multiplication table, and this is very useful. So thanks guys for watching. Please make sure you drop your comments, subscribe to the channel, and share this video. Thank you.